Good morning and welcome to Small Business Matters, where we talk about everything small business, and most importantly, we talk about the entrepreneurs that make these companies go and grow. Always a special thanks to Community News for giving us this platform. Very important to get the word out about South Florida small businesses. And today we have a very special guest with us. We have Rick Mancebo with Core Logistics. Rick, how's it going?
Super, Carlos. Thank you for having me.
No, of course. Rick has come from all the way from Coral Springs. He said he loved the traffic on his way down here. But in the spirit of full disclosure, Rick and I played high school football together at Christopher Columbus High School. Things are a little better now as far as football. I think our senior year we won 2 games.
That's right.
So they're doing a little bit better now. I'm not sure what happened, but we had a lot of fun back then when we went there. So the way I like to start these interviews, Rick, is know a little bit about you, because people do business with people. They don't do business with companies. So tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, if you were born here in Miami, somewhere else, and what you did after Columbus.
So sure, Carlos, first of all, once more, thank you for having me here today and the opportunity to talk about Core Logistics, which is very dear to my heart. I am actually from Miami, Florida. I was reared in Miami. I was born in Cuba, Santiago de Cuba. We immigrated to the U.S. when I was 2 years old. Grew up in Pastorita area, down by Versailles, what was then the quote-unquote Cuban ghettos. Every one of the immigrants that came over from Cuba basically grew up there. Went to St. Michael's, the Archangel Elementary School in Miami, and then Christopher Columbus High School, graduated. Obviously, we played football, graduated. Ended up at St. Joseph's College on a football scholarship. And after college, I entered the business world. I attained a bachelor's of business as well as a bachelor's of psychology and a 5-year track at St. Joe's, and I entered the business world. I started originally in chemicals with Ashland Oil and moved my way from there up to a couple industries. And 5 years after college, entered the biopharmaceutical space, which was exactly the area that I wanted to land on. And I had a 35-year career in biopharmaceuticals with roles of increasing responsibility over time. When I retired in 2017, November of 2017, I was heading up U.S. operations for regional markets for the Merck organization, a multi-billion-dollar German-based company. And I thought I was going to take it easy and retire. And my son conned me into joining him and his partner at the time to build out an organization that really was his concept that he started with his wife a handful of years earlier in the logistics industry, which is what today is now Core Logistics.
So how did your experience translate with pharmaceuticals, translate to this new venture of yours, post-retirement?
I think that what I was blessed with in working for major organizations like Bristol-Myers Squibb, the Sharing Organization, and the Merck Organization, is the business training that those organizations offer to their employees. And the further I went up the hierarchy, the corporate track, if you will, the more significant that education had in terms of the executive level training programs that was offered to me. And I think that the disciplines that I was taught, not only internally from the training and the career development departments within those companies, it's also the external training they afforded me to be able to participate in. For example, I took executive leadership courses at the University of Pennsylvania, as well as the Booth School of Business at the University of Chicago, and a number of other ones. But those two institutions clearly are business giants in terms of education. And the things I've learned and the disciplines that I was able to develop is, I think, what I brought to the Core organization. I am not a logistics guy. I never was. I remember when I first talking to my son and his partner at the time about the Core organization, what their dreams were, and how we were going to grow this company. they were talking about an MC, and I said, "What's an MC?" That's one of the most basic concepts in logistics. I was not aware. An MC stands for for basically the registration of the organization with the FMCSA, right? The Federal Motor Safety. The FMCSA, Federal Motor Safety Organization, right? So the disciplines that I brought, the business disciplines that I brought, when coupled with the learnings that my son had from the years of experience in logistics, this was truly forced a way for us to move forward, to build the teams that we have built, to build the disciplines that we have built, the policies that we have built, and the way that we've gone to market.
So it's interesting because from the outside looking in, and I know your organization, you brought the business discipline. This is my own perception of it. And Ryan is just an entrepreneur at heart, from what I observe. Is that basically the quote unquote marriage?
That's very much true. I remember one time when my son had actually gone into the biopharmaceutical space himself as well. He did it for about a year and a half, and he just did not like it. I remember sitting in his home one day with his wife, and he's telling me that he wants to open up a logistics organization. I asked him, "Ryan, what do you want to do that? You're in biopharmaceuticals. That is the space to be in today's world. You're contributing to the healthcare of Americans. What can be better than that?" And I was sitting on the couch, and him and his wife were sitting on an opposite couch in his living room at his home at the time. And he said, "Dad, take a look at that clock hanging on that wall. Somebody shipped that clock. You take a look at that light up there. Somebody shipped that light. You take a look at that paper on that wall. Somebody shipped that paper," so on and so forth. And it became very apparent to me that the potential, the business potential, the commercial potential to develop a really solid organization within the logistics vertical was tremendous. And I remember telling him at the time, "Go hit it. If you jump into problems, I'll be able to help." At the time, I was still working at the time. Not once did he ever call for help. Him and his wife made a go at it, and they were successful until then. I joined the organization several years later when he asked me to help him grow, and that's what brought us to today.
So how would you, because I've heard both sides of the coin. I can work with family. There's no way I can work with family.
Yeah.
You guys are a true family business. I think that's one of the things that distinguishes you. How is it working with family, and how has that family feeling permeated throughout the organization that's very substantial at this point?
Yeah. I can tell you it is both very rewarding, extremely rewarding, and very difficult. And it's
rewarding in what way?
Rewarding in the fact that you're building something with your son in the day-to-day, and seeing how he thinks commercially and how he thinks business-wise, and to be able to coach and guide in things that you feel might not be the appropriate way to pursue a business enterprise. But it also presents personal challenges when there's disagreements in the way that one needs to move forward, particularly when there is a split ownership of 50-50, because we both have equal say in which way the organization is going. And God knows we've had our number of the disagreements relative to the management of the business that has presented challenges, but we move forward, and what we've built is truly cool. So very rewarding, but very challenging. I remember once we got into a tit for tat, and he said, "You don't even know how to build a load," and I told him that's like telling the CEO of Kellogg's he doesn't know how to fill a cereal box out, right? So,
that's a great analogy.
Yeah, right. But he's right. When it comes to logistics, he is the expert. Him and the team of people that we've been able to hire, the Andre Desmorals of the world, and the Brandon Richies of the world, and Lawrence O'Brien's, and the Jessica Ardillas in Colombia, a great, fantastic leadership team.
That's incredible. So, how many employees did you have when you started, and how many do you have now?
When I started, We actually, there were three guys working out of a garage. It was Ryan, Roger, and Jared working out of a garage, trying to figure out what was going to happen. There was, I think, at the time, four customers. There were on board with the organization. This is prior to me in 2017 when they started asking me for help.
How about when you got there? How many employees were there?
When it was still the same. Oh, that's not true. We had just hired an individual still with us, Lawrence O'Brien.
Okay.
Great guy. And he has started, so there was a total of 4. And at that time, they had a little office in a corner of a warehouse building down in the way east of Coral Springs, and the organization started to grow from there. Today, and by the way, at the time they were agents for a major national broker that I won't mention because we had some disagreements when I started with them. But today, they are no longer agents. We are no longer agents. We're our own independent broker. We're in a Class A building in Coral Springs, Florida. We have 9 offices across the U.S. and Colombia, which is our nearshore BPO, managing all operational support for U.S. operations. And we are 70 employees as of my last count and growing.
Wow. So how many offices do you have in Colombia?
So in Colombia, we have 3 separate offices. We have our anchoring office or our headquarters for Colombian operations in Barranquilla.
Okay.
And then we have 2 satellite offices in Medellin and in Bogota. And the Colombia team is responsible for supporting all of U.S. operations, as I just mentioned. And that team basically focuses on supporting the revenue growth operations of the organization, the customer management operations of the organization in terms of carrier sales, track and trace, pricing, accounts payables, accounts receivables, some marketing components that are done from there along with your help, clearly. So it's grown fantastically.
So near shore, you could have chosen a lot of different countries. Why Colombia?
That's a great question, Carlos. And actually, we didn't just pick out Colombia out of a hat. We reviewed several countries when we chose Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
Those countries included Ecuador, included Belize, included Mexico, included Jamaica, and Colombia. We went through a vetting process relative to proximity to the U.S. office for not having flights that are delayed, so we can get there quick. We can get people from there to the U.S. quickly as well. Time differentials as well was important. We want to make sure something aligned with U.S. time. The education level of the country, the resourcing of the company in terms of infrastructure for technology. In other words, we want to make sure there was solid internet in the area. So we went through a complete vetting process. At the end of the day, we rounded down to 2 countries. One was Belize and one was Colombia. They were both in very tight competition with each other. Belize had something that was going for them that was very strong. Number one was their command of the English language.
I was just going to ask that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
An old English colony, right, until whenever they separated from the British state, 1960 something, I don't recall the exact year. But English, like you and I, with the niche of the English accent.
Right.
And then we also, Colombia is a very highly educated country in terms of the collegiate graduates. Colombia has a very high percentage and has some of the top universities in South America. So we opted to go for the more educated population than the
English,
less educated than the English population, assuming that within that grouping there will be people that have good control of the English language. And today what we've built, every one of our employees in the nearshore operation does hold a college degree. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do, every one of them, and are bilingual people. It's a requisite for employment for us. And to me, what the college degree says, just to expand on that a little bit, to me it shows me an individual that has the capacity to set a long-term goal and work towards that long-term goal. It's insignificant if the degree is in physical education or if it's in business or in any other discipline. It's about setting a long-term goal and pursuing that long-term goal and seeing it to completion. So that's the reason we went with that, not to imply that because of that Colombians are smarter than Belizeans. That's
Right.
not at all the implication. It's just that we had a set factor, all else being equal, we had a set criteria now that indicated that probably be a better route to go because of the component of being able to set long-term goals and execute against those long-term goals.
So what are some of the challenges you faced dealing with dispersed offices? How does everybody kind of come to the same page or be on the same page?
I think the biggest challenges we face with dispersed offices when we talk nearshore versus U.S., because each is different, right? And each has their different challenges, but there are certainly cultural differences between us reared in the United States, a very capitalist country, and the individuals that were reared in Colombia, the employees in Colombia, Colombia being more of, certainly left of center, more of a socialist state. And sometimes it's what we might interpret as lack of work ethic really is not. It's just the way that they are programmed to execute on the job. Here in the U.S., we're go, 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 show up early, stay late, work hard during those hours that you're there. You know, customer is at the focus of everything, right? At least for us, for Core. And that concept is very difficult at times to translate to the Colombian team. But you know, they value significant time off. An example is they got, I can't remember, 20-something holidays a year. You know,
Right.
We have 7,
Right.
right? So it makes it difficult. But working collaboratively with them and understanding their culture and them understanding the need for us to be successful running a U.S. enterprise has been very solid. We found middle ground, and they certainly are there to support the customer base that we have and do so very nicely.
Speaking of customers, you have something that you call the inverted pyramid. What is that all about?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, because that certainly is dear to my heart. So if you think of the typical U.S. organization, the hierarchy is very well defined, right? Yeah, the chairman or the CEO of the organization, or the chairman of the organization, the CEO, and then it breaks down into, you know, the board members, the C-suites, call them,
Right.
and
Senior managers.
yeah, presidents, vice presidents, directors, senior managers, so on and so forth, right? It's very hierarchy, and directions always come from the top. I remember when I was working at Merck running U.S. operations for regional markets, we get a number from Germany. That number went to my boss, or to my boss's boss, who gave it to my boss, and it dwindled down to me, and it was up to Rick to figure out how we were going to do things, right?
Yeah.
And I would take it with my team, right, without really any consultation or input from the customer base. What we have done at Core is we've taken that pyramid, that historical hierarchy of decision-making in corporate America, and inverted it. And what we do is we place the customer at the very top. And then our customer-facing people, if you will, so the salespeople, the people reporting to Brendan Ritchie, who's our revenue growth director, are the ones who will be the equivalent of the chairman of the board in the typical hierarchy. And then from there, the people that are supporting the Brendan Ritchies, the people that are facing the customers, you know, will be equivalent to C-suite people.
Okay.
And then on down the line. So ultimately, myself and my son are working for everybody leading up to the customer, versus the other way around. When typical, U.S. organization hierarchy, it will be the opposite, right? Where my son and I will be on the top of the hierarchy, working all the way, and the customer is at the bottom. So what we have done is we've sort of inverted the pyramid and making ourselves and every one of the leaders in the organization subservient to the people that are basically managing the customer integration. We very much listen to what our customer tells us, and we try to create policies internally and processes internally to support those customer demands of our organization.
So do you have any I know you're not involved in the day-to-day, the nitty-gritty of it, but do you have any examples of how this pyramid manifested itself and what it's done for the organization?
So let me think about that for a minute, Carlos.
Okay.
So how's the pyramid? Well, I can tell you, if you take a look at core reviews, you say how the pyramid has manifested itself and our decision-making process has manifested itself. I think the best way to assess that is what do our customers think about us, right?
That's definitely a way to do it.
And if you take a look at our customer reviews, I'll challenge you to find any customer that does not rate Core a 4 or a 5 in terms of our integration with their organization, our organization with their organization. In fact, take it a step further and bring a third party into it, an independent third party into it, the Better Business Bureau,
right.
The American Better Business Bureau. Core Logistics holds an A+ certification from the American Better Business Bureau. That is unheard of in the asset-light 3PL logistics broker space. It's unheard of. I'll challenge you to go out there and find more than maybe a handful of A+ rated brokers from the Better Business Bureau. It just doesn't exist.
So as they say, the proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. Exactly. We can talk about it all day long, whether it works or not. We know it works, and then we have relationships, highly integrated relationships, with each of our enterprise accounts. And we take it a step further. We probably have relationships that are 3 deep in each of those accounts, minimum of 3 deep. And in addition, many of these accounts also use transportation management agencies such as Bennett, such as Transportation Insight, to help also manage their business. And we're also very highly integrated with those organizations as well.
How have you maintained that, and what makes you different? What makes Core Logistics different? You're in a highly competitive industry, highly competitive. You have some huge players out there. How have you thrived when others, I read in a newspaper the other day, another one from Miami went belly up. How have you thrived in this environment and really throughout the years?
Well, I can tell you, Carlos, that's a great question, and I can tell you that there are essentially what I view as 3 very distinct pillars of success for the Core organization. The first pillar is our people. The people we onboard at Core Logistics are nothing but the top of the industry. We go through a very strong vetting process rooted on the principles of targeted selection, competency-based recruitment, and we don't deviate from those. And we try to find people not necessarily that have tremendous experience in the industry, but that have 4 basic qualities that we cannot teach. Number 1 is the intellect, because we deal in an industry that's complex, and we have to have people that have the nugget to be able to understand that complexity and use it to the advantage of the organization and to the team. The second thing is the heart to execute against those complexity, right? Like I said earlier, show up early, leave late, and work hard in between. There's a lot of PhDs driving taxi cabs because they fail to have the heart. They want to go show up to the office at 9 and leave at 3 every day. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
The third capacity is the intestinal fortitude to push back at things, right? We encourage our people to push back when they see processes that are not working. We, unlike other organizations, want our people to tell us, and we will listen to them. We will sit down and listen because we want to be in a constant state of process improvement, right? So if we find things that we can do better, we'll do them better. We ask, we welcome the pushback. And the fourth thing is the capacity to connect with people, because at the end of the day, people buy from people, not organizations. And if we find people that have those four competencies, again, some things that we cannot teach, we can certainly then take those 4 competencies and teach those people everything they need to know to be successful in our industry. The second pillar of success is resourcing those people correctly. You cannot take the best person in the world and give them a pocket knife and send them into a machine gun fight. They're going to lose every time. So what we do is we resource those people correctly. We take those people and send them into a pocket knife fight with a cannon. And what I mean by that, we source our people very well in terms of technology. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars in technology platforms and AI platforms to ensure that our people are well resourced. These include a number of platforms such as Turbo, which is our TMS system,
Yep.
highly advanced.
Explain what TMS is so people who aren't in the business.
Transportation management system.
Okay.
Basically, anything you want to know about our business, it's in there relative to our customers.
Okay.
Right. It tracks every load from A to Z as well. Does a number of things. Right. So the Turbo TMS system, AVRL, a pricing bot that basically is a game breaker for us. What it'll take 100 people to do over a week, AVRL can do in a matter of minutes. Tabby, a second pricing platform. We also are tightly intertwined with Hoptic and some of their platforms. Everything we do, we go and we spend significant money in top technology. Then we also spend the time to train our people very well. So that they understand. We have 14 PowerPoints, if we will, that we talk about what differentiates our organization versus other organizations. So our people are very well resourced to be able, whether it's in track and trace, whether it's in a sales, revenue growth, whatever discipline it is, they're highly resourced with best of technology as well as power statements to be able to manage any hurdle that might come across their desk. And the third pillar of success, which is what I call the pillar that truly makes us a powerhouse, right, is our corporate values and our tenets, is the how we do things. It's not just about the what we do, but it's the how we do things that really makes us different. And those corporate values for us are safety, courage, achievement, respect, responsibility, integrity, and transparency. And then there is also 3 tenets that we align with those. All owns all, let no team member fail, and integrity before profit. These tenets and these values guides every decision we make at Core, internally or externally towards the customer. And what kills me is that many organizations boast their values and talk about them on their websites, but truly don't live up to them. I can tell you that we internally live up to them. I personally reinforce them, as does Ryan and the leadership team, on a day-to-day basis. We actually use the acronym CARRIT, C-A-R-R-I-T, so people remember what the tenets of what the values are, and they get sort of a mnemonic device to remember them. They're plastered all over the walls in our Colombian offices, right? These tenets and these values, as I said before, is something that competitors cannot match. A large competitor with significant dollars can certainly match finding top-notch people if they're well-trained in recruitment, and they can certainly match us in resourcing their people. But they will never, ever match us in our commitment to the corporate values and the tenets of the Core Logistics organization, the how we do what we do, and the responsibility we have for each other and for our customer based on those tenets. That's what makes Core a powerhouse versus our competitors. And that once more reflects itself in the Better Business Bureau A+ rating that Core boasts, the Ansonia credit score of 97. Core boasts an Ansonia credit score of 97, unheard of in the logistics space, right? And it certainly places Core in the top 2 to 3% of all U.S. commercial enterprises. So people doing business with us, whether it's vendors or our employees or our customers, everybody understands they're dealing with a reputable organization that will pay its bill and it will always do the right things.
So, wrapping up, what's next for Core? What is on your things to do for Core?
There's so much. That we're targeting right now, and it's really cool. First and foremost, there are 3 verticals that we are really focusing on and bringing new customers on board. The first one of those verticals is your rental equipment space, which we are already probably we're definitely a leader in the U.S. We have very strong relationships with the top 5 rental equipment organizations in the country. And we want to continue to expand in that vertical. It's a vertical that we very well understand, and a vertical that has a niche that's not easy to get into. The second vertical that we have a select group of customers also that we're looking to pursue for growth is the over-dimensional, the heavy haul.
I know you guys move a lot of heavy and oversized.
Yeah, and we actually just brought in an individual from Global Trans that has over 10 years experience in that vertical, and he's helping us even build that vertical out further to be able to bring in new customers. Our revenue growth director is also focused on, there's like a series, I just saw a recent breakdown of 7 or 8 customers in that vertical that we are pursuing, where we're gaining some very good traction on. So we're excited about that vertical. We do well in that vertical, and we will continue to blow that vertical up. And the third vertical will be the construction vertical.
Okay.
We move a lot of things such as trusses and concrete forms and multiple other construction-based products that we're going to expand. And then finally, clearly, you have that fourth vertical that we're also solid in, but represents maybe a quarter of our business. I liken that to, Burger King sells French fries because they sell burgers, a complementary product. So that fourth vertical that represents about 25% of our business include things such as alcohol, reefer, produce, pharmaceuticals, different things in that vertical to help support the rest of the organization. So our focus is right there on those 4 verticals to grow those, exponentially over the very near future. We're also looking to expand to original equipment manufacturers. Something that's dear to Ryan. He's been exploring as well. So we're excited about our future, and I will tell you that if our history is an indicator of our future, which I think typically it would be, right? Our year-over-year growth, if you take a look at our compound annual growth rate over the last 3 years, it's at 76%. Again, Carlos, that's unheard of. 76%.
Unheard of.
Right?
Crazy.
76%. It's really a J-curve trajectory in terms of that growth.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that, but the ones you really should be congratulating is our team members, because they're the ones that do it day to day, right? Talking about our team, the way we've gotten there is just because of the things we talked about, but I'd be remiss if I don't mention the concept of 1/70th to you as well, because we truly work as a team, and that's what drives our success. And that concept of 1/70th basically stands for the fact that every one of our team members, including myself, have 1/70th of the responsibility to the success of this organization, because we're 70 strong. I own 1/70th of the organization. The rest of our team members, my son, 1/70th of the success of this organization. The Andre Desranlaus of the world, our Vice President of International Operations, the Brendan Ritchies of the world, our Senior Business Director for Revenue Growth, the rest of them, the rest of the team out there, right? We each own 1/70th of the success of this organization. So it goes to the concept of the all owns all that has driven us to where we're at today, and it's going to drive us to where we're at tomorrow. So thank you for congratulating me, but the congratulations really goes to the team at large.
Well, thank you for being on the show. It was great, very enlightening. I think a lot of people don't know about the logistics business and what drives it and what drives success. So who knows? Maybe we'll do another one of these.
I will always welcome, and hopefully next time we can do one of these with some of our team members involved.
Absolutely.
Super. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on Small Business Matters. We'll see you soon.